Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Okay, well, everyone, welcome to Kill Me Now. Here's the deal. This is our first really New Year show in 2017. Our show this past week was about how much 2016 sucked. And actually, 2017 sucking as well. But it's only been...
Already?
Yeah.
Because you left your notebook at home?
I left my fucking... This is my...
The whole year's ruined.
This is such a Jew thing. First of all, I love doing research because I'm a Jew. And I wrote, I'm fascinated with our guest today. Oh, by the way, Hennessy's not here, so my favorite co-host, Leonard Marcus, is here. Lenny?
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thanks
here.
for calling me
Patrick,
Lenny.
I know. Patrick is at the controls.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. And our guest today is fucking amazing.
Shut your face.
I love her. Do you love her? Do you know her?
I know her well. We did a project together at one time.
Oh, you did?
You guys have the distinction of both being directed by me at one point.
That's right. And I've been directed by...
A lot of people.
Esty. Get her on time. Yeah. Go downstairs.
Oh, my God. I'm so afraid of Esty. But we can't talk about that on here. Okay. So Negin Farsad is here. I was like, is it Farsad or... you know. Oh, fuck, I forgot to. All right, so here's the deal. I've been wanting Negin on the show for a while, and every time, like yesterday, we were going to have Negin on the show, and then I got a job.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great.
I know, but then we wanted you you're just very flexible, Negin. First of all...
It was a good week for me to
I just want to say that I find your... Well, first of all, you're brilliant. Shut the fuck up. You know you're brilliant.
So
Went to
ridiculous.
Cornell and Columbia.
Who hasn't, though? Really? That's
Me!
the question.
I think I've seen both campuses.
Yeah. And you are so fucking funny. But, I so identify with you on so many levels because I also believe that you can change people's minds through humor. You can enlighten them without them knowing it. That you can talk about subversive topics and they have no fucking idea. And it's happened to me many times because I've been in the, forefront. I've been in the forefront. Marriage equality has been a really big deal for me. And I used to do these bits about how, certain people can get married, but I can't. Jerry Sandusky is married. The Menendez brother is married. Eric, what's her name? Who fucked her student and then went to
I don't
what's her
remember
name?
her name.
It's 3 names. It's 2 names. Mary, blah, blah, blah. And it's that they're allowed to get married,
Right.
but I can't. And it was funny, yet it was. May I say poignant? May I use that term?
You're pointing out social injustice is what Negin does.
You are... It's just fucking hilarious. You're so brilliant.
Thank you.
So you were born in New Haven.
Yeah.
Because did someone teach at Yale or something?
My dad was doing his medical residency at Yale.
Oh, I couldn't figure that one out. What kind of doctor?
He's a cardiovascular thoracic surgeon.
Me too. Oh my God. That's what I did right before I started doing stand-up. And then you move to Palm Springs where they need a lot of cardio.
Because it's
thoracic.
a retirement community,
Yes.
and so there's a whole bunch of heart attacks. And they had this one Iranian friend that was like, "Dude, you got to get out here and like deal with all these heart attacks. It's like a great market for you."
And it's a beautiful area.
Yeah, I mean,
the
I
people
didn't realize
yeah.
it at the time, but
Right.
Palm Springs is like totally lovely. I mean,
is.
it's a really weird place to grow up because I grew up in a retirement community.
yeah,
you know what I mean? But
Did you feel young?
I mean, I just felt like there were no kids to play with. That's what I felt like.
Yeah, but older people are like, they turn into children.
Yeah.
You know, like in the nursing homes, they act like children.
But they're also really scared. I remember,
Right.
I remember like as a Girl Scout or whatever. I don't even think I made it to
were
the
a
Girl
Girl
Scout. I think it
Scout?
was a brownie, and then I sort
Yeah.
of dropped out. But
Yeah.
anyway, like I was trying to sell the cookies, and I would like knock on the doors, and the
you
senior
waited
citizens
a
would
half
be like
hour.
so scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would wait forever, and there it'd be little yappy dogs, and
Right.
And they were just scared, and I was like, guys, I'm shorter than you. It's
Right.
fine. I'm like 8.
9.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, fuck, you went. 8 is good.
I'm
Nice.
not the Grim Reaper.
Right. And how much? How much are they? Wow.
Can't eat that, Morty.
Those Thin Mints, man.
Why is every old man named Morty?
That's a great name.
Morty. Those Thin Mints, come on.
They're all good. The Samoa. I could eat
Samoa.
boxes and boxes. of
you know what?
really?
I'm very plain in my, I'm not a big dessert, like I just like chocolate. I like plain, and I don't want like nuts in there.
There's no
you know what I
nut-
mean?
there's nuts in
I
there?
like Ruggles, but no, I'm saying I don't want a cookie with like peanut butter and shit. I just want the Thin Mint in the freezer.
All right.
And I'm very good. I'll have like.
So doling it out in reasonable portions?
Yes, I'll only have 2.
I'm sure
Right.
Negin still has some contacts, so if you bring some girl.
Yeah, I
will take
got to
10
make
boxes.
some shit happen.
So here you are. You're a Muslim family. Do I say Muslim right? Because sometimes I say Muslim and sometimes I say Muslim.
I don't think, I don't care.
Like I say
Like,
Joe
I think either.
and Jew. Joe and Jew.
No, it doesn't. I think I say Muslim, just like it just rolls off the
Great.
tongue.
We've now
Okay.
solved it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, done.
Done.
Now, I have a very close friend who is also Iranian, but she's
Oh.
an Iranian Jew.
Oh, got you. I didn't even know they made those until I
Yes.
went to college.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? And I don't know if you also know this. Out of all the Middle Eastern countries, all of them, besides Eretz Yisrael, Israel, Iran is the least anti-Semitic.
Based on what metric or whatever?
Judy not getting yelled at.
No, it was still 92%.
Right.
But the other ones were like 99.9%.
Oh yeah, got you. Well, the thing is, there's like a lot of Jews in Iran, and
Right.
the interesting thing is, alcohol is banned. It's an Islamic republic or
Right.
whatever, so that's one of the fun features.
That's why I'm not Muslim.
But the Iranian Jews who still live there, and there's still like a sizable number, can sell Manischewitz or whatever because it's part
Right.
of their religion. So it's an interesting like sidebar
Yeah, but
to the rule.
Manischewitz is shit.
Right.
Not to my
it's
dad, it
really
wasn't.
gross.
Really?
He loved it.
Oh my God, it's too
The
sweet.
Concord
He
grape?
loved it. Whatever it was. Concord Grey, extra heavy Malaga, whatever they're like. Oh my God.
Gross.
That's why I don't drink.
Did
I
he
hated
get drunk
all
on it?
No, I thought it was the greatest.
Ugh. I used to sneak it like when I was a little kid. Like I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna have alcohol." Like, and that was the only fucking thing, and it was from like 4 months old.
Yeah.
Can I say that I've been to more Passover Seders and stuff than I have anything that deals with being Muslim?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you feel
well, that's what happens when you're in New York City. You just amass these
Right.
Jewish friends and they invite you to their holidays, and then you're the Muslim at their Jewish
And it's like, right. You're all right. So you grow up in Palm Springs. Do you have siblings?
I have a brother, but he's 13 years older than me, so he actually never lived in Palm Springs.
And did he like go to MIT and blah blah?
he went to Boston University. He's also a doctor.
And did your mom go to college? Or
Yeah,
was
she went to college. She was a medical technologist for some time, or whatever.
Oh, did
and
they
then
meet on the job?
No, they met in Iran. They met.
Oh.
She was 16, and then they got married and had my brother.
Well, I think that's really
What an
good.
awful
That's
dumb
right.
family. Let's throw them out of the country.
Bye now. But you know, my son is 15, my younger son.
yeah.
And I have a 20-year-old, and I'm very upset that 20-year-old isn't married yet. So
What?
I'm kidding.
I know, and now it's like I have a cousin who's 22, and my mom has started saying like, we need to find her a man, and I'm like,
No.
what? Not for like 10 years. We don't
know,
need to
you
find her a
can't-
man. What are you talking about?
You can't do marriage unless you're in your 30s or 40s. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
It doesn't work.
I agree. I just recently got engaged. And
You
so,
did?
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, so
Mazel tov, as we say in Iran.
Thank you.
And
Who
what's
is
he
it?
like?
What's he like?
He is an African American, so
hot.
I like to
Hot.
mix it up
Yeah,
genetically.
hot. You're gonna have hot kids.
It's
Hot
gonna be hour two.
children. And then and he's an actor.
Oh, he must be really hot.
He's actually he's one of those. He's better looking than me. You know what I mean? When you're
Right.
like I am.
But you're
with someone
way
better
smarter
looking.
than he'll ever
well,
be.
no, he's also
Well, true.
he's
Actors are
extremely smart. But it's like one of these situations where people are like, he's your boyfriend, and I'm like, all right, you don't need to be that surprised.
Right.
Okay, thank you. But
Can I do your mother after you told her you're marrying an African American? All right, let's do the phone call. Hello?
Mama, and I'm marrying an African American.
Thank God we have a
they had a
cardiologist in the
moment.
family because I'm having a heart attack.
Oh, I should have done
Yeah,
that.
you should have.
Call your father, I'm having a heart
Nice,
attack.
nice.
Call your father, I'm having a heart attack. All right, so.
No, but here's the thing. So when I first told them, we moved in first, and then that's when they had their like requisite 5 minutes of racism or whatever. Where they were like, we don't dislike black people, you know, when they start a sentence like that, and you're like, you're on like, you know, rhetorically shaky ground,
Right.
and then they, and then they met him, and like they totally fell in love with him. I mean, he's really, really like.
Where did he
really
grow up?
easy to. Here's the weird thing. Even though I grew up in Palm Springs, but we were born in the same hospital in New Haven.
Oh, my.
Wow.
It's Bashert. Oh, that's. Is he older than you?
Yeah, no, he's like a few years younger than me.
Oh, nice.
So we so they
Was his father a professor at New Haven?
we don't know. His father was Gonzie's, but
Oh, that's shocking.
and no, he has like a really interesting
Great mother.
backstory, but also his mother passed away. He was raised by his grandparents.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's got like
Does
a
he
story.
remember his mom?
He does. Yes, yeah. She died when he was 7. So. He
Oh
does
my God,
remember.
that's horrible. No
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah. But then he sort of like he's lived 9 lives, you know, like
Right.
kind of pulled himself.
There's
out
so
of-
many families of one parent families
Yeah.
or grandparent, which is when I had my kids. Well, it was Henry's born in 1996, right? And then he goes to school here because I know that you have dealt with the bureaucracy here in New York City. But he'd go to school and they'd have these forms to fill out: mother's name, father's name. Oh yeah, and that no one does that to Judy Gold. And so I called Christine Quinn and I said, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
First of all, 9/11. People don't have parents.
Yeah.
There's
Or any number of
right. There's
reasons.
so
It
many
doesn't
different.
even matter.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not just me. Put parent guardian.
Yeah.
And he's an example of this fucking nonsense, this bullshit.
Yeah.
That this is the perfect family. Meanwhile, I'm gay. I'm from straight parents. Like it's like what the fuck?
You know what? I actually think that on your marriage license, you have to write your parents' mother and father on the marriage license.
Yes, I think you do.
Yeah, in California. Yeah. I don't know
Really?
if they do that in New York State, but yeah. So
What are
it
my kids
still
gonna do?
happens, with that
Donor
weird
number
thing.
1182. I mean,
That's fine.
Yeah. So, okay. So you grow up in Palm Springs. I'm sure you're one of very few Muslims there.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to say that we doubled the Muslim population of Palm Springs when we moved there.
Oh God.
So funny.
Negin!
I'm a card.
So, and then you're obviously excel in high school and school. You're very
Yeah,
smart.
Yeah. It was interesting because like my parents were really strict or whatever, and there's a lot of things that I couldn't do and a lot of things that were expected of me. But I was, in a way, I was a bit of a self-cleaning oven because I would just like go home and I would immediately like get into the homework. Like nobody had to tell me. I was just no, I got to get straight A's. I got to get straight. You know, I turned into a monster for myself.
Right.
Of being
well,
a good
that's
student.
a good place to get self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know, unlike my son with, you know, I got to get stoned and pick a girl out of the street.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
All right. So, you know, here you are. Now, so your mother had you at 31.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, and your brother has a mother who's 16. I mean, so his relationship with your parents is obviously
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also he immigrated from Iran.
Right.
So when he was 8, they immigrated.
So he remembers
he has his
it.
whole other life. And also.
Do you get along with him?
Yeah. I mean, we were very much closer when I was younger. And I just thought he was like this heroic figure. And, and I remember when he would come home from college and I was like, and I thought my brother could do no wrong. And then I think as we both became, as I became an adult, he was already an adult. I was like, like he can do some things wrong,
right.
But no, and he's built a pretty successful life for himself.
Does he have different political?
No, but can I tell you guys, I have a cousin. Mm-hmm. So I have very few family. Most of my aunts and uncles and everybody have hundreds of family members in Iran. Mm-hmm. But there's an aunt who lives who made it to the United States after like a 10-year waiting for a the way they come in. In an onslaught of waiting for 10 years for an interview to get a visa in France as political refugees or whatever. So anyway, so I have an aunt that made it over and I have a cousin that made it over. And this cousin, it's shocking to me because he left Iran essentially to kind of get out of having to serve in the war, where he certainly would have died. It was the Iran-Iraq war. And,
whose side were you on? Go ahead.
And he comes to this country and through the kindness of family and all that stuff, he has a leg up and help, and he goes to state schools and public this and public that, and he is a full-on right-wing conservative.
No fucking way.
For Trump. Yeah.
He's voted for
he's
Trump?
a wonderful guy, but he's just like yeah, well, these Mexicans are taking our job. I'm like, you're basically Mexican. You're Mexican. Also, he's also a doctor. And I'm like, Mexicans are not trying to take your doctor job. You know what I mean? It's not like people are crossing the border to then come and be a cardiologist.
And vote for him.
I don't get it. I really, really, really don't. I mean, no one in the family gets
either.
it.
Well, I don't know how
right. That's a big contingent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've experienced any kind of immigrant experience, my dad was one. And so if you ever hear those stories, like, how? But it happened.
How? And what's really nice though is that he's actually a wonderful person.
Right.
He's a great father. He's like a great cousin.
Right.
But
how can
so it's kind of like knowing that you can have these views and you can watch Bill O'Reilly unironically and you can say, and still be like,
do you talk to him a lot?
No, I mean not, he lives in California, whatever, so just we're
okay,
holidays.
let me tell you something. 7% of relationships have ended because of the Trump.
Is that a real number?
Yes.
What?
7%.
Wow.
Friendships,
is that like friendship?
Everything
Really?
have broken up because of and I don't know how you put up with it.
Yeah.
I have such a hard time, and I've had a hard time since Bush and this anti-gay. So you're saying you're going to vote your pocketbook instead of my civil human rights. That's more important. I'm not anti-gay. I know, but I don't have equal rights in this country, and there's still 28 states,
and they're not mutually exclusive. You can be in favor of civil rights, and Democrats are also in favor of creating jobs. I mean, that's it's ridiculous that Trump was the jobs guy or whatever. You know what I mean? The man with no actual plans,
right? And the man with all Mexicans working for him.
And the man who outsourced his own company's stuff to China.
Right. So, yes, go ahead. Yes.
In a nutshell, how did you think this happened? Why did this happen?
This election?
Yes.
I It's weird because I feel like part of it is that we had, and I've said this before, that we had this like bigotry buildup like during the Obama years. It's like
Why
so like what was happening was like he had this black president and then he had this diverse like cabinet and everybody, and then we had like Beyonce and Mindy Kaling had her own show and then Aziz Ansari got one and Kevin Hart was selling out stadiums and then it was just like too much for people.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so, and then while these big things were kind of happening, these little incidents of bigotry were sort of just building up, and then until they kind of blossomed full force.
But
into
here,
a Trump
I'm not. I love this. That I totally agree with that in some ways. But when the pendulum swings like that, my thing is why this guy, or it didn't matter that it was this guy. Like it didn't matter what face was going to be put in front, or is it for some reason?
I mean,
because he's the literal opposite of Obama, so the pendulum had to swing towards someone,
and he's not a politician. That was the whole thing.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
okay.
Is that
So it didn't matter if it could have been. I don't know. Pick anyone. If Bill O'Reilly would have run. He knows politics, but he's not a politician. But give me any other white guy.
It's just. I mean, the fact that he said the shit he said.
It's the shit he said without a filter.
Right. And that, people think that's what everyone says, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. It's like that. So, they think like that's what everybody wants to say and they don't say it. It's
right.
Like,
and they're like,
guys,
yeah, he says it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, I can't believe it. And he has kids. Do you like his kids?
Trump's kid?
No, your brother. I'm still obsessed
my cousin.
with him.
The cousin.
My cousin.
Yeah, they're little girl. Like they're
you have to get
1
a
and
hold
3
of them.
or something.
I hope that no, I'm not kidding. Is his wife?
Although, can I tell you guys something very sketchy happened recently, which is like they got rid of their dog, and so they gave the not like in a violent fashion, but like they gave the dog to another cousin, and
it was brown or black. This dog.
It was a little white dog.
That's why.
So
that's
yeah. But the kids didn't like the dog. The dog was really cute, like a little dog, and I was like, "What kid doesn't like a dog?" I thought that was very weird.
What's the wife like?
She's also a doctor. She's and they're nice people. They're
Is she
all
white?
really lovely. No, she's Iranian. So they're all really lovely people. It's just
how does he find another
she
Iranian?
also doesn't like dogs.
I don't like her. I'm done.
It's weird. It's weird.
No,
it's
I'm
weird.
done. Okay, so and you loved you wanted to be Mexican as a child.
I did.
I read.
Yeah.
So because you thought you'd fit in more.
Well, it's just like I think when you're,
salsa.
I'm an Iranian American. Yeah, there was that. When you're an Iranian American Muslim, which is like such a specific ethnic identity, and there are none. In your community, there was like literally one kid in my grade or whatever. And there was like, my high school was like maybe like 55-60% Mexican.
Right.
And they were the large minority group, and they're the minority group that everybody understood and could identify and like say their names properly. And like, and like I literally, like I had teachers that would go down the attendance sheet and they'd be like, Jennifer here, Chad here, Aurelia here, Rodrigo. And like they were like white ladies. Like rolling their R's, you know what I mean? And it was just, I never fit in, and I just thought, it'd be so great because I'm not like, I can pass for Mexican, and it'd be great if I was one.
Right. Okay, so you picked Cornell.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick Cornell?
Well, to be honest, I also applied to Harvard and Yale, and I was rejected by those two.
What?
So they can
They're
go fuck
sorry now. Go
themselves.
fuck yourself. You know what? It's so funny because I was also rejected from both of them, but I never applied. So I rejected
and now,
them.
as an
actually.
adult, I have performed at both Harvard and Yale.
Really? Do you open
and
with that?
I tell them that I was rejected
So
or whatever,
in
and then I spit in all of their faces.
Were you popular in high school?
No, I was definitely, because I was like president of the debate team, vice president of the theater club, so I was like a total crossover dork,
Right.
and nothing I did was cool. I don't think I was like I wasn't hated, but I was nerdy, but I had friends,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to Cornell.
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, that for me, college. I don't know about for you. College was where.
Where did you go?
Rutgers.
Gotcha.
SUNY Albany.
Rutgers.
So college is where what happened?
Rutgers. I went to
Rutgers.
Rutgers. I was a misfit child. Lenny, were you a misfit?
I was not a misfit child.
How are you a
were
comic?
like a good.
I don't
like a
know
good
how I'm a
kid?
comic. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a
I was a misfit. I mean, my parents were old. I was 6 feet when I was 13. Jewy. My mother. Ugh. All right. Anyway. And then I go to college and I think, oh my God, everyone is going to teach. It's going to be the same shit. I'm going to live in a dorm and they're all going to be like Bigfoot, Sasquatch the minute I get up in the morning. And it wasn't. It was, diverse.
Yeah.
And I really came into my own there.
Yeah.
So when you get to Cornell,
Well,
is it like eye-opening? Like what?
It was. I mean,
Because they're smart.
it was eye-opening because I sort of thought that the rest of the country where there was like snow and leaves change colors or whatever was just something that happened in the movies. You know what I mean?
Right,
and so
right.
like I bought a coat for the first time when I was 18
Right.
and went to upstate New York where the climate is just radically different
Yeah.
from the desert or Southern California. And then the other thing was like I literally had never seen so many white people like in it because I just grew up around so many Mexicans and it always felt like there was a healthy mix in Southern California, but in upstate New York it is just not like that. And and Cornell, like try as it might, was trying to increase its diversity or whatever, but it like certainly hadn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and I think they're probably doing a much better job of it now. But I was just sort of like, where are all the Mexicans? Like
Right.
I don't understand. And I think finding my footing and really for me finding my footing ended up being comedy,
Right,
because I was
right.
in a college sketch comedy troupe or whatever called the Schizophrenics.
Thank you.
They're always great names. They're
Thank
always
you.
great
I
names.
know, I know.
Schizophrenics. I love that. Now, were you assigned a roommate? Like, how did that work out?
Yeah, I was assigned a roommate who played lacrosse and grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut.
No!
And I was like, you're a weird, like,
Perfect.
what? And it turned out there were so many of her on our
Right.
campus.
Was
I
she-
had never even heard of lacrosse. I didn't know what that was. And
Wow.
so just like
Did she
all
have
of
blonde
the-
hair?
Yeah. It was kind of like a strawberry
Do you?
blonde.
I'm sure you guys keep in touch.
I mean,
What was that like?
Were
She
not,
must
we
have
did
freaked
not
out.
become friends. I think she just. I honestly feel because our like suite. So what happened at Cornell? Cornell had this really interesting segregation issue where like all of the people of color lived in North Campus and all of the white people lived in West Campus. For real, that happened for a very long time because people you could select where you wanted to live, and all the white people who came through Legacy and blah blah blah, and they knew people who had been to Cornell, whatever, so they knew to pick West Campus, and so West Campus became this kind of like white party area,
Right.
and then North Campus is where all the people of color were, and then there were people who fell through the cracks, like my roommate, who didn't get their first choice. Like she clearly wanted to live on West Campus and couldn't, and so she ends up
a
living
misery.
in a like suite with an Iranian, 2 Indians,
No.
a Puerto Rican, and another Puerto Rican, or I think maybe she was Dominican. I can't remember. But anyways, so it was
Same
just
thing.
like,
Yeah.
and so for her, I just feel like she felt like this is not the college
you know
experience
what?
I signed up for. You know what I mean?
But it's
and then
also-
she joined a sorority. It was fine. Later
Yeah, but
on.
now she knows what it's like to live,
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah, do you think it helped her? She got
yeah.
help more than you guys did.
No, totally. And that was the interesting thing about about that experience was that the people of color were having a great time at meeting other people of color. Like
Right.
that was not a problem on the
Right.
Cornell campus or whatever. It was like it was integrating the white
Right.
people in that was the problem. Yeah.
So then do you go right to Columbia for your master's, or do you
Yeah, I
take
mean, I took like a year or something.
Uh-huh.
I waited tables in Paris. Thank you.
Ah.
I hate you. Do you speak French?
I mean, oui. Yeah. I
You speak Farsi.
Yeah.
You speak French.
Yeah, and I speak Azadi, which is the language I speak in Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
and
No, I knew
whatever,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She frequents Azerbaijan.
Yeah, I do. And then
There was a great comedy scene there.
yeah, that festival.
Judy Gold this week.
Yeah,
but the part
I
of
died
Iran-
there actually. Go ahead. Sorry.
The part of Iran that my parents are from, they speak both languages. So we spoke both languages at home.
And any other besides English?
That's just those 4.
Wait, I just puked a little in the back of my throat.
No, I hate myself, but I actually think it's great because French is
So
the only
great.
one I had to learn. I mean,
Right.
obviously, like Farsi and Azadi, I was
too
just
bad.
like born with or
whatever. All right, so you're at Columbia. Yours. Wait, I wrote down what you were studying: urban development. And
No, I was getting a master's degree in African American Studies and another one in public policy.
Well, you're going to get a doctorate in African American studies after you get
Wow.
married.
Hey,
Hello.
good night, ladies. That was good.
Thank you.
So, was that like your opening line on your first date? Like,
That's got to get you in if it.
I'd really like to. I did a.
No, it's funny, like because I think because I got that master's, I think some people thought I might like only date black guys or something
Right.
like that, which is absolutely not true. I sort of dated across the rainbow. I had no particular
Right.
type at all. But I have dated black. I mean,
How about that George Washington Carver? Hey, buy me a drink.
How about that Paul Robeson? Yay!
Oh, man, river.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
So, speaking of James Baldwin, you graduate.
Yeah.
Do you begin doing? From what I've read and seen, comedy came out of this need. I mean, you knew you were funny. To get this, to talk about social justice in this palatable way.
Yeah.
And you're brilliant at it. But how did it start? Did you go to a comedy club?
Well, it's interesting because I was doing sketch, like I said, in college, and then
the Schizophrenics,
and I came to New York and started with the guys from the Schizophrenics. We did another group here, and then I just started doing some stuff on my own, and I did and so while
Were they jealous?
No one gave a shit. Actually,
Okay,
I was like,
okay.
oh, I don't even merit any kind of jealousy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you have a vagina, so
Right. They're like, how far
Right.
can she really get?
Right.
I ended up doing a solo show, and I think at some point I was just sort of like, sketch comedy is a drag because it requires like costumes and sound cues and
people in the audience
and people, and like the nights where like the people on stage outnumber the people in the audience were just like too much to bear. And then stand-ups just seemed to have this community. It just seemed like easier logistically, and I wrote a solo show, and some people like assumed that because of that solo show I knew how to do stand-up.
And where did you perform that solo show?
I did it like at the New York Fringe Festival. I did it like the Chicago Comedy Fest. I did it on the festival circuit basically, and got some clips, got some some positive reviews and whatever. And so that's when I just started getting booked as a stand-up, even though I had no stand-up experience.
Right.
And I just pretended like I did.
Yeah,
and
you gotta fake it till you make it.
And then I just and I was like, oh, this is great. Like I just talk for like 10 minutes at a time, try
and
to
you
figure
get
this out.
$20. Yeah.
If or nothing.
Right.
And and it really ended up being and it's addictive, as you both know.
Yes.
You sort of get into it, and if you don't suck, it becomes. And even if you do suck, you're like, I need to figure out how not to suck.
Right.
The
That stage time
feeling,
is. Yeah. So let's do the phone call. Where you call your mother and father and tell them you're going to be a stand-up
You're going to do it
comedian.
right this time?
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Hello.
Salam, Maman.
I love you.
Well, before you say that, I just want you to know that I am now a stand-up comedian.
Call your father. I call your father now. Oh, I'm having a heart attack. Okay, thank you.
We need more cookies.
She should have bragged in the middle, or your brother,
Yes.
because I have a son who is a doctor.
Call your brother too. Please call someone with a medical degree. All right, so
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, I got all these Ivy League degrees, and I was a policy analyst for the city,
for the city,
So
yes.
I had this day job for a while, and it's not
Senior
and then
policy.
What is that?
Okay, that's actually a really good question.
Oh, what is it?
That's why I'm here. I throw in the
Judy, that's a really good question.
Thank you. Damn it, Negin.
What
Thank you.
happens? So I was working for the campaign finance board, and New York has this really great campaign finance program that's trying to level the playing field because guess what? Not everyone has enough money to be able to run for office. Like we might think like, oh yeah, let's just get a bunch of women and minorities to run for office, but it's actually really fucking expensive.
Right.
So New York is like, let's try and
curse.
get.
Yeah.
Oh, can I not curse?
No, you can. Fuck shit, cunt.
Oh, okay, got you.
suing her mother.
So the campaign finance board basically doles out money so people can run, and it's this amazing program. It's like the gold standard of campaign finance, whatever. I totally believe in it. And as a policy analyst, I was basically brought in to like look at the numbers and figure out if the service was being delivered in a way that was most efficient. Is efficiency is the name of the game, and make it efficient and like, is it really helping the people? Like, we don't want it to help rich people, right? We want it to help people who don't have it. And so like that, they're constantly reviewing figures and stats to do that. And that is the really boring, turns out, work of social justice, is the behind the scenes in a cubicle pouring through numbers work of social justice, which is like wonderful. And everyone I worked with was like phenomenal, like kind-hearted people who are really in it for the public service.
Not Republicans, you're saying?
Well, no, and you know what? And some of them were Republicans, but they were really into public service, and that I think is something that we like. Politicians get a bad rap, and a lot of them deservedly so. I think, like, behind every politician it's like 20 tired people who are working around the clock, who are like doing this stuff of like with numbers and just trying to figure it out. And those people like are great.
Wow.
By and large. Some of them, I don't know, murdered a guy.
So you did a TED. How many TED Talks have you done?
Two.
Two.
One was a main stage TED Talk, whatever, not like a TEDTalk.com TED Talk, and the other one was a TEDx at the Met, the Metropolitan Museum.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can kill on a TED Talk, but you fucking killed on your TED Talk.
Thank you.
I mean,
well, it's an easier audience because they don't get that much comedy at TED Talks. So,
but I laughed. I never laughed.
Oh,
I laughed at so much of your stuff.
Oh,
it was also a quick, 10 minutes? Like, it's a quick 10 minutes.
And
Thank the Lord. I mean, I've seen some of those TED Talks, which are really interesting, but after about 4, I got the gun loaded.
And you did that scientific. I mean, it was
very
brilliant.
Funny.
It was brilliant.
Thank you.
So you, how did you align yourself with Dean Obeidallah and other Muslim?
Dean Obeidallah, that awful human.
He's an asshole.
What an asshole.
Is there anybody?
Has Dean been on the show?
No.
I want him to go.
Yeah.
But you know what he did?
What?
Is there anybody nicer than that guy before you shit on him?
I know. No, I'm not shitting on him.
He's really
he's, I've known him forever. I love him. But he... he does his show at Sirius, and I was going, he's doing a show. You know how they have, like, it's Sirius Radio. They have, like, all these glass, you can see everyone in each studio. So I'm walking by to go do another show, and I see him, and I know he sees me, and he's facing out, and he's talking to someone. I see the back of the person's head, and he's really into this deep conversation. And I start making like all these faces and all this shit, and he does not look at me. That's the last encounter I've had. It was a couple of weeks ago, and I have to write to him and say, he's probably like, "Fuck you! I was interviewing the Emperor of China, and you fucking all right." So
what a sweet man.
So you go and.
Yeah. So basically, at a certain,
did he find you or did you find him? Because he's been doing this Muslim thing for a while,
and he's been in comedy longer than me or whatever. So like he had seen my solo show, I think, and then booked me to do stand up, and like he was one of the earlier people to like kind of help me with get a leg up or whatever, and to which I'm super grateful, and we're still like totally good buds. And
does he have a girlfriend?
He does. Longtime girlfriend. They live together. She's gorgeous and amazing.
What does she do?
She's an actor.
Is she African American as well? Go ahead.
Old man.
Yes.
She's Arab.
That's disgusting.
Old
Go
Man
ahead.
River. And she. So I had made a documentary, a feature doc called Nerdcore Rising, which
Yes,
is about
I
nerds
know.
who rap or whatever,
Yeah.
and like super nerdy. Weird Al Yankovic is in it, whatever. And he had seen that and was and we were just talking about other projects and blah blah blah, and we were complaining about like the status of Muslims in the United States or whatever. And so
What?
yeah, turns out they don't have it so good. And and we sort of hatched up the idea, like, because I had this documentary filmmaking experience, which was totally like learned on the job, like I had never turned on a camera before I made that feature film. And I was like, yeah, like I know how to do it. Let's do it. And so we decided to put together this film where we paraded a bunch of Muslim American comedians around the country doing a stand-up tour, and we went to like red states and whatever, Alabama and Arizona and those kinds of places, and we called the tour "The Muslims Are Coming," and we documented
I
it.
love that.
And we got some people, a lot of people you guys know, Lewis Black, Jon Stewart,
Never- who?
Janine Garofalo.
Wait, what?
To come and be and wax hilarious about Muslims, and it was it turned that into a little
Well,
movie.
I was actually not available during that period. So
You were in Azerbaijan doing the tour.
Well, we had
Yeah, right.
we had a certain number of Jewish comedians that we couldn't go over the limit with Jewish comedians, so that's what happened.
You also did a pitch you pitched to the MTA
Yeah.
these posters that
Yeah.
would they were funny
Yeah.
and teaching people about Muslims.
For the movie or not? For
No.
Yeah,
for-
so the
well-
so for the Netflix release of
Right,
the
right.
movie, and yeah, so we want what was happening is at the time there was this anti-Muslim poster campaign that was happening in the MTA, and they spent like $300,000 on putting up these really ugly, shitty ads because it turns out like bigots are terrible at design,
Right.
And we and it was just like, and they were everywhere. It was really annoying.
Say one.
I'm trying to recall. Like it said stuff like, you're like their jihad is your. I don't remember, but it was
Okay,
just
they were
like
bad. They're not
were
memorable.
Just not memorable,
Okay.
and they were really ugly. So, so we thought like, okay, the movie's coming out on Netflix. Why don't we put up our own posters that are like delightful about Muslims and say nice things or whatever.
They're hilarious.
And
actually. Can you say one?
Yeah. Like, for example, one of them says, facts about Muslims. Fact, Muslims invented the concept of a hospital. Okay. Fact, grown-up Muslims can do more push-ups than baby Muslims. Fact, Muslims invented Justin Timberlake. So just like, they're kind of ridiculous. Another one says, like, the ugly truth about Muslims. They have great frittata recipes. And so they're,
Right.
we worked with the MTA every step of the way. We had these 6 posters, and they were really dragging their feet. We had to get the public advocate involved. It was just like a whole thing. But finally, the posters were approved, and they were supposed to go up. And then 2 days after they were supposed to go up, the MTA calls me, and they're like, they're not going up. These ads are too political. We're banning them.
What? Oh, the other ones aren't political? Your jihad is what? Fuck
whatever.
them.
Yeah, they had a rules change, and just in time for these hilarious posters.
Well, the Justin Timberlake one
and
is really
it was really
political.
controversial.
So,
it was very controversial.
Dean's a lawyer, and I'm sorry, do you have 2 Ivy League degrees? You do.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I meant. Dean's an attorney.
Dean's in it, but yeah, Dean had practiced law for some
Yeah.
time. But
And
we actually,
you
and well, we didn't so we hooked up with Muslim advocates who are lawyers, and
Right.
they brought together this whole pro bono team, thankfully, because we couldn't afford to do it on our
Right.
own, and they took this case on. I mean, it's not often, like, I don't know if you guys ever thought, like, in your lifetime you'd be like, I'll have a First Amendment case that I'll have to take to
Right.
court, you know what I
Right.
mean? And it was just like, wow, I cannot believe this is happening.
and did it go to the New York Supreme Court?
No, it went
or-
to the New York Circuit Court, and
Right.
and it was there for. I mean, this whole process took about a year and a half.
And did
then-
you have to testify?
No, I mean,
It wasn't in a courtroom?
It didn't have that dramatic.
That
no,
would have
I was
been
hoping
so
for that.
good.
We didn't have the dramatic courtroom
Right.
moment because the judge just looked at it and said, don't be ridiculous. These posters can go up. You know, we
Right.
haven't reached that point in our nation's
It could have been the
history.
people versus Negin Farsad.
But by the way, the because it was my production company versus the MTA.
MTA.
The name of the case was the MTA versus Vaguely Qualified Productions.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
That's talk about ironic. It's the other way. Vaguely qualified MTA.
How do you think this would go?
Go.
I've always wanted to do what you guys did, the Muslims did, and go to these hate states.
Hate states. I like that.
With gay comics, but I feel like we would be attacked and killed. Especially
I would-
gay men.
I say
Right.
no. I say you wouldn't. You'd find a niche audience in every one, I think.
Yeah, that's so what happens what happens is with those shows you get the self-selected audience of people that are like curious, right, about Muslims or in your case gays, or they're happy to see that in their town, right?
I noticed in the audiences, I could tell there were like local lesies.
Yeah, totally.
You know, those artistic, like, I don't fit in here, but I don't have the money to move to New York
Right,
people.
exactly. Yeah,
I
yeah.
read,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. And then other people who were just like curious.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that was what so the audience had an element of self-selection to them, but when we did the street actions where we would like put up an Ask a Muslim booth in the middle of town square or whatever that was, like those were the moments I feel like where we got people in the middle of their day and where we put ourselves in danger in some cases, you know what I mean? We chose not to show much of the dangerous moments. You know, I was detained at the border. Like a lot of shit happened in the making of this movie that we didn't put in the movie because the idea wasn't to show, here are the assholes of America. The idea was like, what happens if you really try and meet people? And like, what happens if you really try and befriend people?
Right.
And build that bridge or whatever. So I think if you did do something like that, which I think would be amazing.
Yeah. I want to do it in all this, there's all these states that don't, Indiana.
Totally.
What the fuck?
Alabama.
You can be fired.
Yep.
You cannot rent an apartment to a gay.
Yeah.
First of all, who doesn't want to rent an apartment to a gay man? Seriously.
Yeah.
The whole place is going to be gorgeous.
Spotless.
Spotless.
Having grown up in a retired gay man's neighborhood,
Yes.
I can attest to that.
And you grew up around a lot of Jews too.
I did.
Did your parents ever say anything about the Jews? I have found Muslims and Jews are so similar.
So similar.
So
it's ridiculous.
The family, the food,
Yeah.
and my son's a doctor, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did they ever say anything? Because
Can I tell you? Yeah, my parents would. They would never like say anything like overtly, but they were like a little weird about Jews, or someone, a friend of theirs would come over and say, oh, that person's a Jew, and my parents would think, right. And so they'd have these like moments, and then we got these Jewish neighbors,
right,
and this lovely like older couple, whatever, and they came over to our house and gave my parents like a rum cake.
And that is not a Jewish cake.
Which is
that's
not.
very interesting.
Yeah, we don't put alcohol in the cake.
They did it, and it was you do put the blood of Christian babies in your cakes, right?
Oh, and everything.
Adds the moisture, right?
Everything, and
delicious.
That's what matzah's made out of. Go ahead.
And so they brought over this cake, and it was delicious. And my parents were like, "Oh my god!" And they were so overwhelmed by how nice this was. They invited them over for tea, whatever. Cut to like 2 weeks later, they're going to dinner. 2 weeks after that, they're like planning trips. They're like best friends. My mom's calling me. I'm in college. She's calling me. She's like, "Did you know that Jewish family is just like Iranian family?" I'm like, "Lady, every family is like every family. Did you just need a fucking rum cake to figure that out?" And that's, I think, the interesting thing is, again, it's like that. The gold star of all of this is exposure. All they needed was
to
a
know
fucking
someone.
neighbor. That's it.
So that's, look at Dick Cheney, who I fucking despise. Daughter's gay, all of a sudden he's pro-gay marriage.
Yeah.
It's like you have to realize that you know and love a Jew, you know and love a Muslim, you know and love a gay, you know and love an African-American. And I used to do a joke about how, Jews can always tell other Jews when they see them. It's just like black people can pick other black people out of crowds. And that actually came out of being with a friend saying, "Oh, that guy's black." And and it's true because there are so many white-looking black people.
Yeah.
I just did 23andMe, by the way. I'm waiting for my results.
Oh, did you
I did
really?
it.
You did it?
I did it.
What is your
Was
background?
it boring?
That's my background is exactly what I thought it was going to be.
What
the
is
most Ashkenazi
Jew?
Jew from Eastern Europe, 99%.
Did they didn't
that's
specify like exactly
Well,
which
they-
region or whatever? Do they not do that?
No, because
No.
they say that Ashkenazi Jews are from the same 300 people.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
we're all related.
we are.
Wow.
That's why I'm 6'10". My grandparents were actually cousins. My mother's parents were cousins. So they were second or third cousins.
1/10 NBA.
Well, that's okay.
No, it isn't.
Second or third cousin is like I think okay.
Look at me. I have mental illness. And okay. So you have to leave soon, right?
Yeah, I have. Just another few minutes.
Okay. So we have
Or
to.
like
I don't want you to go. I want
like
you to
I
stay.
like 10 minutes.
I just don't want you to leave. I love you. You're so fucking smart.
I think what's really like lovely about your podcast is that you really like shower love onto your guests.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a first.
Even though you're like ridiculous and all of that stuff,
Right.
You actually
Well, I'm
have this like core of love for the guest.
Yes, absolutely.
Really,
I find people really
really love
interesting. I love what makes the person tick. I also love their high school experiences because I had such a fucking horrible time growing up in New Jersey. All right, so when are you getting married?
we don't know.
Good.
Yeah.
Get closer to the mic.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we don't know. I just I haven't.
How did he ask you?
Oh, it was actually like really cute. He like surprised. It was my, no. It was like he surprised me for my birthday with.
When's your birthday?
It's March 24th. Everybody.
Oh, that's a good one. Go ahead.
And he had my best friends fly in and whatever. And I just thought that was the gift that like my friends were flying in
Right.
or whatever, and we were gonna like hang out, blah blah blah. But like then. He like put rose petals all over the apartment,
God.
and like he like put these little notes tied together by a string all over the apartment of like memories from our relationship. And
sorry.
it was totally like it was the thing that you make fun of, and it's cheesy,
Right.
but it was
But
so
you loved it.
wonderful. Yeah.
And that your friends weren't there during this period.
No,
of-
they
yeah.
were like had like come up with a reason why they had to leave me for some time
Okay.
or whatever.
So, and then were you surprised?
Yeah, I was deeply surprised. I had no idea. I'm also not. I never assume that anyone's. I'm not like looking out for like who's trying to surprise
Right,
me. So
right,
I
right,
never. I would never catch these things anyway.
So, did you cry?
Yeah, I totally cried. And then the ridiculous thing is, I had come home and the lawyers for my publisher, for the book that I have that just came out called How to Make White People Laugh.
I love that,
The lawyers like needed me to rewrite a page because of some legal reasons or whatever.
Right.
And they were like in a panic. They like had to be done by the end of the day. And I was like, oh my God, it's my birthday. Okay, whatever. So I had come home being like, ugh, I got to go do this thing.
Right. And then boom!
And then boom, this whole thing's so I say yes, we cry, whatever, and then after like we embrace, I was like,
You didn't
I
have
need
sex?
to do some work.
You didn't have premarital sex?
No.
You're supposed to have premarital sex after
I
that.
had to like literally like rewrite a page in my book for lawyers.
How
And
soon
so-
after? How soon after the engagement notes and petals did you call your mother?
My mom. Okay, it was after I did my rewrites, probably like another hour. Called my mom, and then she is obsessed with my dog, so she was like, "I want to see the dog, your ring, and your future husband all in the same FaceTime image," And so we were trying to hold the thing with the dog, the ring,
Right.
and my best friends had come in by that time, so there's like a lot of people in the room, and everyone's just like staring, and my dog
Right.
is like a puppy at this point, and he's still a puppy, and he just like is overwhelmed, and he pees all over my dress.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
so at least it wasn't your fiance that's peeing all over your dress.
Yeah.
Now,
Although, I mean, at other times.
yeah, I like the golden shower. Okay, so there's
You gonna do that on the tour with the gays?
the golden
Yeah.
shower.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how our
the
closing
closer?
bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna have
Nice.
someone sing, and they're all gonna take their dicks
Who
out.
wouldn't come
Yeah.
to this?
Yeah. I
So-
love it.
Kevin Brennan. All right, so I asked guests, there's a certain number of questions I ask every single guest. First of all, what pisses you off the most?
Oh, shit.
And it could be anything. But
okay.
it's got, it has to make you fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think right now, I think it changes every day, but what pisses me off the most, and this is just like the most recent thing, is that people get so angry on the internet, like over a really minor thing that you could have said, and
right.
the internet rage drives me crazy.
Right.
I wrote some stupid tweet about how, Donald Trump, a sexual assaulting, incoming president, and sides with Julian Assange, a rape trial evading
right. I saw that. I love that.
And there's a certain symmetry to it or something.
Right.
And
well, don't forget Donald Trump was accused of rape too. They're both rapists.
Right,
yes.
exactly. And so someone wrote back yeah, but you fucking liberals, you're okay with Roman Polanski, and I was like, what? What are you talking about? I'm not okay with Roman Polanski.
Oh
what are you even talking about?
That's fucking hilarious.
And so that's one of those things where I'm like, you manufactured rage all
right.
on your own. I didn't even say the thing.
Right.
And you decided that I said it.
Their comebacks are so ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
It's
I'll read
yeah,
one later after.
Oh, all right. Because it's always he did this. Yeah, well, Hillary, but it's like, no, she lost.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but we're not talking about her. That's what Kellyanne Cuntway does. She is constly, you're like, well, he's going to be doing, well, Hillary, she's not president.
I know,
stop
talking about her. I know.
Shut the fuck up.
You'll like this one, though. I was on MSNBC a couple weeks ago, and someone wrote, at Negin Farsad was clearly the Jewish nerd on the panel. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, thank you. I'm so flattered. But just technically, I was the Muslim nerd on the panel or whatever.
Funny.
And then the person writes back, no, you're clearly a Jewy McJew-face. And I was like, so why are you so insistent that I be Jewish? And I was like, I'm sorry, that I took your anti-Semitism away from you.
Was it a Jew?
No, it was I don't know, some person. I couldn't tell if they were Jew. And I was just like, it's funny because if you're hell-bent on being anti-Semitic, Islamophobia is just not a good enough substitute.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so even though I thought it would be
because we have all the money.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid so much.
We have
to
all
do
the
this.
money.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know where mine is, but we have
I'm
all of
looking
it.
for it.
Wait, you're in your TED Talk. You have that the pie chart, and says you said that most people are good people around, and then you have the haters, and this little thin, I don't know. I want to say it was about 8% of your chart.
Yeah.
I was like, to me, that was the only one thing I didn't like. I was like, the people I meet, it's got to be that
larger pie of the chart.
It has to be a larger part of the chart. Because some of these, I don't know if Twitter's just so vocal.
Have you performed in Alabama and Wyoming and those kinds of places?
Not Wyoming, but yes.
I've performed around the country. I don't think I've been in Alabama and doing.
Okay, but you know what, Lenny? You're not going up there going, I'm a Jew, I'm a gay, I'm a Muslim.
No,
you're going,
absolutely
I'm
not.
funny.
I can hide whatever it is.
Yes.
But the second I say, if I even mention Jew,
right,
it's over.
It's over.
Right. That's what that is so fucking annoying. I've always said that, and that's why when Jewish periodicals I had the Jewish Forward after I did the Tonight Show for the first time complain, that I'm doing a stereotypical Jewish, and I'm promoting these stereotypes, the Jewish Forward, and I'm like, you live in your little Upper West Side fucking, little concubine, and I'm going to these city. I say I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
I've gotten cursed at and yelled at.
Death threats and all that stuff.
Yeah, so fuck
it's
you.
real. Yeah.
So I don't know.
No,
and that's how my mother talked. Okay, I'm not fucking
Yeah.
exaggerating it. She wrote my act for many years.
I've gotten that complaint too. I totally feel you. And it's
Go fuck yourself. You sit there and criticize. Here's my other question.
Yeah.
And I think I know the answer. Are you on any antidepressants?
I'm not.
I knew it. Fuck. There's so many who are not on antidepressants.
I'm totally not. I
found
actually
one.
think my mom is a really constitutionally upbeat person, and I think like I'm
Except
not,
when you're marrying an African American, becoming a comic.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So I feel like I just lucked out with the genes on that one.
Why can't I have that? I take my pills and I'm just like.
It goes back to that mom thing.
I know, but I remember not taking pills. Like I remember in my early 30s. No, I made a. In my like 20s, but I overexercised. I had such bad OCD. Like
but
I
if
remember.
I don't exercise, I'm a real dick.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I
have to meditate and exercise, or I'm like cursing and screaming.
Yeah,
and,
same here. Yeah, totally. Well, I don't meditate, but still.
Yeah, you should meditate.
I know. I would love to.
It clears your brain. And everyone, when I tell people I
discipline.
meditate, they're like, "No, you don't." And I'm like, I practice so much.
Wow.
But it's so good because you realize what you're fucking obsessing about.
Yeah.
And you gotta clear your fucking head. I still
Yeah.
have shitty dreams, but. Negin, you are. I love you.
Oh,
I want
thank
you
you.
to. I want to work with you.
Yeah.
Don't tell Lenny. Don't tell Lenny.
Well, let's definitely keep him out of it.
Would you ever open for me?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Of course, I would love to. It'd be an honor.
Oh my God, that would be
Yeah.
so fucking great. I tried to get Lenny to open for me, but he wasn't available.
Depends where we're going.
Whatever.
Where in Wyoming are we going?
Yeah, right.
By the way, Laramie was one of the best shows I've ever done, and
Yes.
part of the reason is because you get altitude crazies, and you just start kind of you're like, I don't give a shit, I can't breathe. You know
Right,
what I mean? So you just start
And
doing
you get
whatever.
diarrhea. Did you get diarrhea?
I think I was peeing a lot. Like I just was
Right,
like a
yeah.
sieve for water.
Yep.
So but yeah.
Yeah.
Have to keep drinking.
Oh,
Yeah.
I lost my mind on stage. It was great.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Do you get stoned?
Occasionally.
Oh my God, the doctor! I called you. Call your brother. Call your brother.
Yo, it's legal in California now,
Yeah.
so whatever.
No, I enjoy. You don't,
no,
I don't.
you don't.
and you don't vote. He doesn't fucking
I don't do
vote.
anything. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I
And
don't,
he
You know
doesn't
what?
vote. I
You're
don't take
a work in
antidepressant.
progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these
And he's
are all
only
things that
72
you can
years old,
change.
so that's good.
Well, when we all move to Ohio, maybe my vote will count. My vote does
still
not
have to
count
fucking
here.
vote.
Oh,
It does
whatever.
count. Not
Oh,
just for
she won when
president.
she had 4 million extra votes. It didn't
I'm
fucking
not talking
matter.
about president. I'm
Oh
talking
my
about your
God.
local.
You're local.
Reps.
I don't know
You're
anything
local.
about it.
You're an
You're
asshole.
local.
Don't complain.
Don't vote on the All-Star game. You don't know
right.
anything about the Yankees. I should be the one voting.
Negin, you are. Tell people where they can find
Oh
you.
yeah, I would love it if you enjoy hearing comedians talk about politics. Then
doesn't?
we won't have Lenny on the show because he doesn't vote.
Yeah.
We will have Judy on the show in the future.
Thank
It's called
you.
Fake the Nation. It's an Earwolf
Yes.
podcast, and you should totally subscribe to it. And I'm on Twitter at Negin Farsad, and you should buy my book, How to Make White People Laugh. And you
And
should
watch
watch
your
my
TED
movies.
Yes, 4 movies, 5 movies.
My latest movie's called Third Street Blackout, and it's on Amazon and iTunes and all that crap. And
It's NEGINFARSAD.
Yeah.
Losers. I love you.
Thank you.
you.
I love
You're
you too.
fucking. How do you say I love you in Farsi?
Mantoro dustaram. It's a long one.
Mantoro dustaram. Mantoro dustaram. Is that what you said to your new African American fiance?
I mean, he speaks English, so.
Right. But you ever, like in the middle of it, go Mantoro dustaram?
Ah, gross. I don't.
Mantoro. All right. Negin, come
Thanks
back.
for having me.
Thanks for coming and
Yeah.
being here. Leonard, what's going on for you?
Nothing, just working.
I know.
Usual.
Any gigs coming up?
Any good gigs coming up? No. I'll be at the Cellar.
Yeah, me too.
Find me at the Comedy
You know
Cellar.
how many people? Do you ever get people? And then we'll hang up. That are like, oh, I want to come see you perform. Where are you performing? And I'm like, oh, I'm at the Cellar this weekend. Oh, when? And I'm like, no, I'm doing 10 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
Like I was at Caroline's a week and a half ago. You could have come.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I told you that.
They never come
I know,
anyway.
I know.
I literally just go,
But
just
it's
look at my
hard for
website.
civilians to understand the difference between those two types of gigs. You know what I mean? So.
And also, you know what really pisses me? When they're like, can you email me when you're No! I can't email you when I'm doing
Yes,
a show.
I'm not emailing
Guess
you.
what? I actually work all day, you motherfuckers.
Yep.
Okay. How do I find out about your... Go to my website. What's the name of it? AssholeCunt.com. What do you think it is? It's JudyGold.com, you
Yep.
fucking... All right. Anyway.
You should buy, though, assholecunt.com.
I know.
Just to-
That's funny. Thank you, Negin Farsad. Thank you, Leonard.
You got it.
Marcus. Patrick Anton, Italian. Thank you. Yeah, he talked a lot for the pod. And as we always say, so long!
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.